Look, knowing the cards inside and out is vital to your success in Marvel Snap. But just as important and often less talked about is knowing the locations. Today, I'm going to take on the daunting task of breaking down every single location available at launch as quick as possible. Whew, let's jump into it. Here we go, every location in alphabetical order on launch week. Let's start with Asgard. There are very few ways to draw more cards in Marvel Snap outside of a couple of cards like Adam Warlock. So I do like to go for Asgard for a few decks, play strong power cards on turn 3 or 4 to snatch it up. Now for Atlantis, don't overcommit to just one card here. If you need to play more, that's okay. You can be cheeky with Mr. Fantastic or Klaw for some bonus points, or Namor, this is his home. Now as for this location, you want to just be mindful that it's there. Play your combos, play the cards that you want out there because they'll get reshuffled and you'll get a new hand. Avengers Compound. Now, you shouldn't be filling your locations with 4 cards very early on anyway, but you want to be very careful not to fill this location before turn 5 as it forces you to play here. So be extra careful with those combos going into turn 5. Bar with no name. Such a fun location. The least power here wins, so you're going to want to play cards like Mr. Negative, The Hood, or you can be cheeky with Scarlet Witch late game and throw your opponent off completely, changing up the location and then playing some higher cards. Baxter Building. Now this can be a super competitive location. I like to play Angela or some high stacking value cards here, but don't overcommit. The +3 is nice, but you can still win the other locations without it. Central Park. Some people love it, some people hate it, but Central Park will be huge for Khazar, Zoo decks, or Patriots. It's going to be a rough time for cards like Bishop or Angela, or decks that require a lot of spots. Cloning Vats. Another solid location. You can play so many different cards here, and remember that you're going to get bonus power right back to you. So cards like Carnage or Wolfsbane is huge as you'll get that additional power and then you can play them again. Overall, solid location for on reveal and ongoing as well. Crimson Cosmos. So this location is based on current cost. Cards like Miles Morales or even cards affected by Wave are going to struggle here, so be mindful. Daily Bugle, read all about it, the newest location as of this video. You get a copy of your opponent's card, and it's nice to see what they're potentially running, but you want to analyze your cards and be prepared for what they may have taken from you. Danger Room. This location, it always destroys your card and never your opponent's, so just get used to it. In all seriousness, Colossus or Professor X can be great here, or play a destroy card for a 1 in 4 chance for a decent benefit. Dark Dimension. Now, you can play this to bluff your opponent and make them think you have great cards here. Hella decks have great value, or what I personally like to do is play cards like Lizard, Ant-Man, or Mojo. These are cards that, if your opponent can't see, you get the most amount of value out of. Death's Domain. The key word here is play. So, Nightcrawler, cards from Jubilee, Ghost Rider, or even Brood can all be location winners. District X. Do you have an awesome deck? Great. Throw it away and get ready for madness. It can be an easy win with some good luck and good pulls. Dream Dimension, not a fan. Your 5-cost cards you can kiss goodbye as they're going to cost 6 and you'll be forced to play them later. The rules are simple. If you see Ego, you've got to snap right away. Let the father of RNG decide your fate. Now this is actually one of my favorite locations. 1 and 2 cost cards get a massive swing and the entire game changes in general. So if you're lucky enough and you get this location, enjoy it. Fisk Tower, absolutely clap your opponent by playing Kingpin at another space, Heimdall, or even Juggernaut. It's got a great animation to boot. Flooded or Flooding, you're going to see only when you have Storm on the battlefield. It's great to follow up this location with cards from Guardians of the Galaxy because it's great to get that easy bonus. And also remember, you can move cards here later in the turns. Gamma Lab, actually one of my favorite locations. The more cards, the better. You're going to know early on if you or your opponent is going to win it. And cards like Brood and Mr. Sinister can be absolute game winners as they all turn in to the Incredible Hulk. Now, you can also get cheeky and play Shang-Chi to counter this, or Doctor Strange to move the Hulks to another location. Grand Central Station. Now, this is one you want to play around a little bit with because you want to make sure the cards in your hand are going to get the most benefit of a free play. So decks like Lockjaw or Hella are going to naturally benefit from all their high power cost cards. Just make sure you leave at least one space open minimal to have that card be played. Hela, or is it Hala? Look, I'm just going to let you guys know. You come for the content and stay for the mispronunciation. I don't know how to say half of these names. Yes, I know. I need more hooked on phonics, but besides the point, with this location, I like to act like I'm not interested in this location. And then on the last couple of rounds from 3 and 4, I smack some high power cost cards and watch all of their cards get destroyed. As an added bonus, do put some destroy cards here. You can actually get a free Winter Soldier by just putting Bucky Barnes and watching it blow up. Hell's Kitchen, nothing crazy here. I tend to find Ant-Man to be my favorite pull to get him later in the round, but Zero, Iceman, they all work. Not a lot to say. Ongoing decks, look out for this location, but you can also use it to your advantage with cards like Lizard, Typhoid, or Red Skull to get rid of their harmful ongoing effects. Jotunheim. Now, you want to avoid playing cards here early because every single turn they're going to lose power. You can also send a Green Goblin over for some extra cheekiness, or if you're in pool 3, go ahead and play a card early there, let it get a bunch of negative points, play Viper, and send it to their side. Kunlun. This location is super advantageous for move-heavy decks. Human Torch, Vulture, or even Multiple Man work really well here, or you can counter it with a card like Kingpin. Kamar Taj, one of my favorite location. It is an on-reveal deck's dream. Look, Odin is the king of Asgard, but he's really the king of Kamar Taj, as he can activate so many times, and on-reveal decks just go crazy. Counter it with Cosmo. Nowhere, the direct opposite of the last location we just mentioned. I love to play Maximus or even the Destroyer here, as it acts as a free Cosmo. Nothing crazy with this location. You can play cards on turn 3 and 4 for the max amount of power, or you can always move there later on, but you've seen this song and dance before. Pretty much everybody hates this location. Avoid playing here as long as possible unless you have the Patriot or Khazar. It's tough to deal with all the crap in your deck, and just focus on the other 2 locations. Umera. Nothing crazy here. You can get some decent gain out of the Guardians of the Galaxy, but watch out for like Colossus, because if the card is not revealed, their abilities don't work. So my boy Colossus can get destroyed. Limbo, most often seen from Magic. Limbo changes the rules and adds another turn. Los Diablos base, nothing crazy. You're just going to have 2 vanilla locations, and it's going to be up to raw card power on who wins. Luke's Bar is a super fun location for on-reveal cards. I love playing cards like Ironheart or Black Widow to just get the same effect over and over again for absolute free. You're not going to be playing those cards, so be mindful, unlike cloning vats, but still a lot of fun. Mindscape can be a nightmare for people who need turn 6 like Apocalypse, Hella, or even Heimdall decks. It can be solid with American Chavez if you polar, but this one can be a headache. Miniaturized Lab is going to be a lot like Professor X. You cannot add cards here no matter what, turns 3, 4, and 5. So either go for it early on 1 and 2, or save a big card on turn 6. Now, my only tip for Mirror Dimension is just to be aware of the other locations, as one of them will be turning into this one, so you want to know what you're going into. Mojo World is a game-winning location that you should always pretty much prioritize filling. You will always lose if you are tied on locations, or you could get such a chef's kiss by playing Polaris, moving one of their cards, or for pool 1, play Elektra, and you can go ahead and get the winning edge by that. Monster Island, Iron Man, Shang-Chi, and Armanzola will be your best friend. Monster Metropolis, you're going to go back and forth most likely with your opponent on who is getting that extra power, but it can be nice to save your highest power cost card to make sure you get the +3. Just be sure you factor in that +3 for your opponent as well. Muir Island, play tons of 1 and 2 cost cards to get the most value. Honestly, the sooner you can fill with at least 3, sometimes 4, the better, as they're going to get loads of power over the course of the game. If you do have a card like Mojo, you can counter this location heavily. Murder World, everybody dies, but play Nova, Winter Soldier, and Hood here to take advantage of the free destruction. Necroshaw, the fewer cards you play, the less negative power overall you'll have. Place a good scaling or high power card to overcome this. Negative Zone, literally what I just said. Before the next location, I just want to say a huge thank you to everyone that has subbed and helped the growth of this channel. It's honestly mind-blowing, and I just cannot wait to keep on playing Marvel Snap. It's insanely addicting, and just a ton of fun, and we've got a lot of content to go. If you do find the video helpful, if you could take a second and click the like button, it helps out massively. Now, lastly, if you do want to catch me live, I'm over on Twitch under Cozy Gamer. We've been streaming to an awesome audience, and we've got a lot of different segments and shows and a ton of fun with Marvel Snap. So I'll see you there. Now, New York can be one of my favorite games to play against an opponent. It's this cat and mouse game, and you got to try to read your opponent a ton on turn 6. I like to not play a lot of cards here, and then turn 6, I'll just ditch a location that is kind of a 50-50 one, and then just switch over. Or, you know, play Kingpin. Not even going to try to say it, but if you play a lot of low-cost cards, the higher value you will get, and if you have Venom, enjoy. Nova Roma. Cool. Thanks for the free card. Olympium. Heyo. Thanks for the 2 cards. Onslaught Citadel. If you're playing an Onslaught deck, feel free to snap when the game begins, but it's similar to Kamar Taj with huge value on ongoing cards, and complete game winners can be played here. If you see Wong, you see Mystique, just retreat. Oscorp Tower is a newer location, but I like to sometimes play some weak 1-cost cards here to give them to my opponent. Just make sure. I've seen a lot of people play cards here only to lose them, so be mindful. Project Pegasus can be a lot of fun, but you'll know right away if you're going to win or lose. You can effectively play like 3 turns worth of cost, so if you have a lot of combos, set them up now, or play a huge power card here. Ruins. A ruined location. Sakar. This one can be both frustrating and amazing. It's going to play a card for you and just cross everything you got. It's a good one. Sanctum Sanctorum. Now get cheeky here with Mr. Fantastic, Klaw, or again like Nightcrawler. This is an easy win with other move cards. Savage Land is similar to Central Park. Again, great for destroy decks. Cards like Carnage can feast here, but it can suck for everybody else that you're losing 2 spots. Sewer System. -1 isn't anything crazy compared to the other negative locations. Just for the love of everything, do not play Iron Man on a negative location. It doesn't do what you think it does. It doubles the negative. Yeah, I think that's the wording. Shadowland. Reminds me of Ninja Turtles. Cards like Killmonger, Carnage, or Viper can be great here. Other than that, make up for it with other high power cost cards. Sinister London. Essentially the same advice for cloning vats, but this is probably my favorite location. You get double of each card, so double effects, double on reveal, double ongoing, and double power. This one is insane, and make sure you play your best cards here. Sokovia. It'd be great for discard decks, but if you lose a card you really need, get the heck out of there and retreat. Storm Tower. Set yourself up for success on turn 5. You actually want to play a lot of cards here early and get the maximum bonus possible. Starlight Citadel, nothing too crazy depending on the locations. Strange Academy. Now, this one comes by all of the time. It happens on turn 5, so not a huge swing. But I do like to play Angela to get some free extra stacking on her, and just know that they're going to go all over, so you can fill this one early if you want to. This location. Zoo and Patriots are great. Everyone else, Godspeed. The Bifrost. Move decks get a massive power swing, but pretty much just remember to play all of your cards 1 location to the left of what you originally want them to be at, because it's going to move them to the right. The Big House is for small cards with big power. They're going to be your best friend here to win this location. The Hub. Yep. You get a card. The Icebox. Like Iceman, it's going to increase one of your cards. Your 5 power cost cards are going to get the most affected by this, but everything else you can work around. The Nexus. A newer location. You got to be very careful, as this is a huge battle and usually the only location that matters. You want to make sure you're being very careful what cards are played and what combos to get you the most power across all the locations. The Peak, the Mr. Negative Effect. Some cards go crazy like Iron Man or Armin Zola. Otherwise, expect a crazy game ahead. The Raft. Now, some people love it, some hate it. I'm on Team Love here. The main thing to know about this location is you want to just be cognizant on who's going to win. Like, if your opponent gets a card out on turn 1 and you don't, like, you're not looking great. But Brood, Mr. Sinister, they could be big-time game winners. Or you could play like Carnage to finish it off and you still get the bonus card. Ooh, Space Throne. It only takes about 1 mess up to know how to do this one right. Now, you can really mess up your opponent by playing Green Goblin or Polaris to pull a card over. I like Sunspot Bishop, or waiting until the later turns to play a heavy power card. The Super Flow. I have seen so many players, for whatever reason, play cards here early. You're losing a giant advantage by playing here early, so play around the other locations, get the free energy, and then play here turn 5 or 6. As for this location, congratulations. You're not playing with the deck you signed up with. the Vault. Now, again, you can move cards here, but you don't want to set up any giant combos for your 6-cost cards. Tinker's Workshop. Nothing wild, +1 energy. It's best if it's the 3rd location, so you can get a 4 energy on 3. Titan. Turn 5 6-cost cards. Pure profit. Now, this location, TVA, Tiva, whatever it is, it's one of my favorites. Now, the cubes you're not going to get a lot of because they don't double. So if you feel like you're going to win, you want to snap around turn 2 or 3 and try to spread yourself up and play a very small game. Wakanda. A free armor. With Wakanda Embassy, cards like Deadpool or Human Torch succeed a lot as they can continue to double in value. Other than that, they're getting the same bonus, so it's kind of a wash. Washington, D.C., those without Patriot, you can finally play that Cyclops or Hulk that you've been running. You can also play cards like Winter Soldier or even Doctor Doom's bots for some extra power. Weird World. Again, congratulations. You get to play with your opponent's super creative deck of just hodgepodge cards, and you didn't sign up to play this, but get ready. Westview. Yep, changes to another location. World Ship. Honestly, one of the best animations, and it could be a lot of fun going for the one location. Look, I don't know who runs my mansion, but they just give me 1-cost cards, while whoever's on my opponent's mansion is getting Infinauts. And last but not least, for a great small power boost, we've got Xandar. So that is going to do it as far as locations at launch for Marvel Snap. Now, I'll continue to update this video as they release more and more locations because we get a new one every week. However, this should hold us down for a while. One more time, if you enjoyed the format of this video and you found it helpful, if you could do me a huge favor by liking the video and also clicking that red subscribe button. You can unsubscribe anytime and it helps me out massively. With that said, have a wonderful day or night. Until next time, happy snapping.